Hi, I'm Dr. Cindy with the Positively Altered podcast. I am a chiropractic internist and nutritionist, and we love to discuss things all health and wellness based. Sometimes physical medicine, sometimes mental, sometimes it's even culture in a corporation. And today is no different. So if you want to learn about superpowers and how to tap into your greatness, don't wish that you become great. Just be great. This is going to be an episode you don't want to miss. So sit tight, grab some hydration. We're going to listen to a couple sponsors, and we are going to be back with today's guest.
Hello, my name is Heather Lord, and I am the COO of Professional Health Products. Cutting corners is an all too common practice in the dietary supplement industry. When my father founded Professional Health Products, he sourced the cleanest, most biologically active ingredients from around the globe. Today, that commitment remains, which is why the finest healthcare practitioners, like Dr. Cindy, have trusted us for more than 40 years. We oversee the entire process in our manufacturing facility, from sourcing and formulation to manufacturing and labeling. Today, we offer over 300 unique products that can be tailored to the nutritional and homeopathic needs of each individual. Most recently, we launched a proprietary genetic test, allowing our practitioners to get even more dialed in to their patients' health. To learn more about Professional Health Products, please talk to your practitioner or visit our website at phpltd.com.
Today, your life is going to be altered. I'm Dr. Cindy.
Welcome to Infinity. We have worked hard to create an electronic claims website that is simple and user-friendly. This is the public side. You can log into your personal web portal here. This is your dashboard. You can personalize it to your liking here. Our main focus has been to allow you to submit and edit claims as easy as possible. You will find our claims editor and claims processing is simple to use and straightforward. Our quick action bar is where you can find your most important information. Most of these icons will take you directly to the claims the number represents. You can easily view if you have any messages in your inbox of any unread alerts by looking for these blue numbers. To view the rest of our training videos to get the most of your Infinity experience, click this icon. We hope you find this web portal simple and easy to use. Thanks for letting us serve you.
I'm Dr. Cindy. Who wouldn't want to join me for the Positively Altered podcast? Welcome back to the Positively Altered podcast. So glad you listened to our sponsors. They're really important to us. Just as important is my next guest, Patrick Lyons from the Lyons Group. Welcome to the Positively Altered podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited too. So I have a question for you. You know, we always like to get information about our guests ahead of time. And you wrote down that you have 100 years experience. And for those of you watching, there is no way you are 100 years old. So like, what is the Lyons Group? What do you do? And 100 years, how did you get to 100 years when there's no way you're that old?
I think what I don't want it to be deceptive. I think what it says is 100 years of collective experience. So it just speaks to the experience on my team. As you can see from watching, I'm only 23 years old, so I'm relatively new. But I have colleagues. That's a joke, by the way. I have colleagues who are members of somebody on our team with decades of experience. I think there are a giant list of things that we suck at. I could fill 3 episodes of the podcast going through all the things we suck at, but we're not doing those things for a living. We're trying to stay in our lane. And in that lane, we've got quite a bit of experience. And I'd like to say we're pretty damn good at what we do.
So what do you do? I don't want to know what you suck at because that's not the focus, right? But
Fair.
What are you really good at?
We are really good at, for those, if you can see behind me, there's a bridge. That's the picture behind me. That it's not just artwork. What we are fantastic at, our superpower is getting people to put the weapons down and come to the middle and find commonality. And so we do that specifically in family-run, family-led businesses, getting those executive teams, those leadership teams to remember that they're on the same team, to find commonality, to align, like to restore those broken relationships so that they can then pull in the same direction and grow and scale a business. So it may sound like family therapy, and there's a little bit of that. To be honest, some of the work that we actually do marriage work with leaders who run family businesses, because when mom and dad are fighting, the kids choose sides. And if a relationship in a business splits, you split the organization with it. But it's really about helping organizations scale and grow, helping them execute on what matters most. But our specialty, because of the superpower, is in family-run businesses, just restoring the family in the process of restoring the business.
And Patrick, why do you like this? How do you wake
man.
up one day and go, this sounds like it would be so much fun to mediate family issues within the corporate world?
You know, it's missional, really, because I think when you think back, okay, so I'm not 23, I'm 54. You start to look back on a career and the experiences that impact you, the stories that you're going to tell in your final days. It is about those businesses that we helped double or triple revenue. But honestly, that's not as exciting to me as in the process, we restored a family, like a father and son, or we restored a marriage or a sibling. Like those are it's just missional. You really have to be, again, giant list of things we suck at, but there's the ability to walk into the middle of chaos and dysfunction without getting any of it on you, without choosing sides, getting people to remember that there are no sides. There's really one side. They've just forgotten that. It's missional. That's what lights me up on the inside.
So that correlates with your statement that we all have greatness within inside of us. And I'm sure
Yes.
there's people listening that go, nah, I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's true, because we're so wired to think negatively, even about people. How do we foster that, right? Like even within ourselves. So like, yes, we can come to you and you can help facilitate that. But when I think about, okay, there's greatness inside of me, how do I dig deep and recognize that when we're living in this world, this space where it's so easy to think the exact opposite?
Well, and it doesn't help that we're all like scrolling on social media all day long and seeing everybody's best, right? You don't see when I wake up with a pimple on my cheek, because I'm not going to post that. You don't post. We're all posting our absolute best, and so I'm comparing myself to what I see, and it's so easy to instantly think I'm not as good as, I'm not as successful as, I'm not as young as, I'm not as skinny as. And comparison is the thief of joy. It's one of my favorite sayings. So when it comes to owning your greatness, I think I literally just had this conversation with somebody that I'm coaching just last week. And I love to ask the question, what's great about you? And, sometimes people will give me like 2 or 3 things. And even then they'll say, well, I'm good at this. I'm like, oh, no, that's not what I asked. I didn't say good. What are you great at? And, and they'll give me 2 or 3 things. And then they'll be like, that's probably it. I'm like, okay, what do you suck at? And I don't let them answer the question, but I'm sure that you could give me, again, like 3, I made that joke. I could give you 3 podcasts full of things I suck at. What I've learned if you really want to discover your own greatness, we can't ask you. You're the wrong person to ask because you're looking at your own stuff through the filter. And by the way, welcome to my club. I look at me through the lens of my baggage, my mistakes, my regrets, my shames, my embarrassments, through the messages that people gave me as a child. Oh, you talk so much, right? So, but instead of seeing that as a strength, like, you know what, I'm able to fill the space. I'm able to draw people in. I'm passionate. I'm like, we wear these lies and labels that people gave us as kids. And so I'm looking at me and all I see is all that failure. When you really want to discover your greatness, to me, the exercise I do with clients is I say, okay, we're not asking you. We're asking the people who engage with you, who interact with you. And there's a very specific question that we that we reach out to those people to ask, and we bring that feedback together. And you know what we do? We dismiss those compliments. Like people say that I'm inspiring. I hear that. People say, "Oh, you're so inspiring." I dismiss that because, again, I'm looking through the filter. I say to myself, well, they wouldn't say that if they knew this about me or if they knew that about me. And I think it's because I'm the one giving myself an unfair shake. I'm the one that's not that's dismissing all that positivity because of the negativity that only I see. I've just learned that I think everybody else's perspective of me is a much more accurate depiction than my own when I look in the mirror.
Why do you think it's so hard for us as humans to own the great? You know, to say I'm excellent at this and I'm outstanding at that, and I am, right? I love the I am statements in a positive, but usually I am dumb, I am bad at technology, I am right. Like the I am statements usually go toward the negative because we don't want to brag, I guess, maybe, right? Like, I mean, maybe that's inappropriate, but what's so wrong, and why do we have trouble saying these amazing things about ourselves? Because there's nothing wrong with being amazing.
That is a great question. And I do think it's two primary areas. One you just touched on, and that is it feels arrogant. So some of it I think is whether it's cultural or societal to say I can sit here to say I'm great at inspiring people. I am great at creating safety in a conversation so that people know they can just be without fear of judgment. I'm great at making people laugh. Like I've done my own work to be able to embrace that. But that may sound arrogant. To me, there's no arrogance for two reasons. One, because as some of this is a faith thing for me. Like I feel like how many books did I read on how to make people laugh? How many books did I read on how to inspire people? Or how many books did I read on creating safety? The answer is none. Now, you can certainly sharpen the tool, but to me, that speaks to the fact that those tools were put there by somebody else. I just see myself as a steward. Now, even if you don't have a faith connection, you can still say there are things that you are just great at that you like, it just comes naturally to you. So maybe it's a universe thing or a science thing, but these things are encoded into your DNA. So it's not arrogant when I recognize I didn't put the tool there. I'm merely a steward. The other reason to me, it's where confidence becomes arrogance is when I start to say, I'm better at inspiring people than you are, or I'm greater at making people laugh than you are, or I'm way better at creating safe spaces than you are. The fact is, I can be great at that, and you can be great at that. And again, go back to comparisons, the thief of joy. In fact, it takes, honestly, if you look at the state of the world, man, we need inspiring people. We need people who can bring laughter. We need people who are great in areas that I suck. And so it's about creating space for everybody to just own their greatness without fear of arrogance. And if somebody thinks there's something arrogant just in owning who I am, to me, there are 7 billion people on the planet. I'm not going to make all of them happy. I'm just not. That's the external, like the fear of, to your point, not being arrogant or cocky. But then the other thing that works against us to owning our greatness are all the self-talk. You said that I'm not as young as I used to be. My best days are behind me. I'm whatever. It goes back to, I'm not as inspiring as Dr. Cindy. Or I'm not as man, you're just like, you're so, I wish I could be as authentic as you are, which right away now I'm afraid to try to be authentic because it's not going to look like how you do it, but it's not supposed to. It's you don't have to be anybody else. In fact, you can't. Good luck with that.
Right.
You have to be the absolute best version of yourself, whatever that looks like. And you can be great at something and I can be great at the same thing and we could be great together.
You said something very interesting to me, Patrick. There's a phrase besides I am, and I love the I am if we use it properly. But there's an I statement that you made that I catch myself doing once in a while that I actually despise. And that's a pretty strong word. And that's I wish. And I talk about that a lot, where we say we wish something instead of just doing that something, right? So like if I want to be inspiring, instead of wishing I could be inspiring, just be inspiring, be funny. And maybe you're not, not all of us have that gift of comedy. But to your point, if I am not a funny human being, to wish it isn't going to make it happen anyway. And I find that those words are very dangerous for people, because we're then reaching for something that feels unobtainable.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
Versus owning where we currently are and maybe improving on our skill set or our desires.
Yes.
To just elevate at our own pace.
That's why I go back to that exercise. When you want to discover your greatness, it's asking the people around you again, which even the thought of that feels so weird to say. Well, what do you think is great about me? That's why. So we don't ask that question. It's phrased differently. But to your point, I may have things that, again, it's looking at you and seeing the tools in your toolbox. I often call that like your greatness, just to imagine it as every one of us carries this toolbox around with us everywhere we go. You bring this toolbox into every relationship that you're in. You bring it to work with you. You bring it into parenting. You bring it into all of your hobbies, and to own your greatness, which to me, that's actually the second step. You can't own your greatness until first you acknowledge and recognize that there's greatness in there, right? That you're not carrying around an empty toolbox. There's some great tools in that toolbox. But to your point, if I open my toolbox and I don't see a comedy tool, if I don't see that tool in there, then I close the toolbox and go, oh, I'm not funny, and I really want to be funny. Therefore, my toolbox. I mean, how many tools did you look past looking for that comedy tool and not acknowledge that they were in there? So again, we can't all be great at everything. That's the beauty of it. That's why we need each other. That's why we're meant to be in relationship, that collectively, hopefully we have more tools. We can be part of something bigger than we can do ourselves. But I often say, right, to own your greatness, or even to live a life of purpose, means you don't have to be anything that you're not. You don't have to use any tool that's not in your toolbox. You just damn well better not leave anything in there. Like, whatever's in there, use it, wield it with humble confidence, not arrogance, because I didn't put the tool there, but that humble confidence. This is who I am. This is why I'm here. This is what I'm supposed to do. And if I just show up and impact the people around me with the tools in my toolbox, it may feel like I'm not doing anything extraordinary. I'm just being ordinary me. But when I show up and I'm ordinary me to the fullest, like using every one of those tools, it has an extraordinary impact on the people around me. I know that because the same thing happens when you show up and you do you. It's awesome to the rest of us. That's why people are tuning in, because you just doing this ordinary thing, you're like, I'm just getting on and talking and having interesting conversations. People are listening because it's having an extraordinary impact on them. So just stay there. Don't try to be something that you're not, but don't leave anything in the toolbox.
I love that. So I want to share with you something that I think is great about you. Can we do that? Are you okay?
Please.
I want to tell you something. Yep. So this is what I think is great. You shared with my team when we were looking at doing this podcast together that you felt that your wife would be an outstanding guest based on her skill set and her personality and all of these accolades. And what we read was more important than you just giving me a skill set from your wife, but you actually lifted her up in a way that created this excitement about another human being for us that we have never met, never talked to. And I think that makes you pretty extraordinary, because I find that in the world, we're really quick to take other people down, especially in corporate organizational settings, right? And one of my greatest gifts that I learned, and I'm going to give credit actually to my friend, Dr. Jay Greenstein, who is brilliant at introducing and connecting people with absolutely no need for anything in return other than that connection. And I've practiced that for years, and it's been so emotionally rewarding for me, with, again, zero intent on return. And it comes back tenfold anyway, as we all know. But experiencing that through you, who I've just, for everybody to know, I've just met you, right? I mean, this is a new relationship. I've never met your wife. What can we teach people to do that better, not only in their personal relationships like you clearly do with your wife, but in organizations and friendship settings? Because I think we fail at that a lot as human beings, and we step on people to go up instead of lifting people up, and then we can go for the rise with them. We're just not good at that as a population.
Yeah. Thank
and
you.
Thanks
First
for
of all,
being great about that, by the way.
Thank you. I will receive that. I receive that. Thank you. Here's the truth. I'll give you two quick points. First, it's easy to lift up my wife because she is amazing. I mean, honestly, she inspires me. She's overcome cancer. She's written books. I can't get a book out of my head. So she's just, she is amazing. That said, I actually do that. If I'm being honest, I do that for myself. So there's a selfish component to that. And I say this, I think it does, it answers the question. There's a period in my life in particular where a lot of us have dark periods in our life, right? I've got this period of my life, few decades ago where my life was just spiraling out of control. Like it was a good 10 to 12 years, really spiraling out of control. And coming through that, I remember literally one day looking in the mirror and thinking, I don't even know who you are. Like I didn't like who I saw. I didn't like what I'd done. And it was one of those like, okay, who are you? I was kind of answering that question that a lot of us are like spend our whole lives. Okay, who am I? What's my purpose? And what I learned through a lot of self-work, a lot of mirror work, as we call it, right? You got to do the mirror work. What I learned through that process was, even in those dark times, that spiraling period, I was using every tool in my toolbox, but I was using it for me. I was using it to see like let's just add those things together. If you're really good at making people laugh and drawing people in and you're inspiring, if I'm using those tools and others really selfishly, I was really good at manipulating people. I could get all kinds of things that I wanted, and it wasn't very pretty. So what I've learned is real joy in life comes from using the tools in your toolbox, not for yourself, but to try to lift others up, right? To try to be a light in the darkness, to try to impact other people. So in that sense, all I'm doing is instead of that dark period where I was using the tools to serve myself, I started using those same tools, which, by the way, in the beginning, I was afraid to use because I thought the tools were bad. The tools were always great. It was the intent behind the tools. And so when I use my greatness to impact other people in a positive way, it has the opposite effect. Instead of this spiraling dark period of my life, it's joy, it's peace, it's fun. And you said it as it always comes back to you. Even if it doesn't come back to me in something tangible, mm-hmm. It comes back to you in something intangible, which I call purpose. It's purpose. Like, okay, I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to do with the person I'm supposed to do it for, and it's not about me. So it's easy to lift up Dana because she's awesome and has a lot of great things, but the feeling it gives me to lift her up, and anybody really, if I can use those same tools to lift up other people, I go to bed at night feeling like that was a good day. It was a great day, not just a good day. So that's the encouragement. If you're for the person who's listening, who's just kind of like spiraling or spinning or wanting more, wondering what is your purpose? You don't have to do something extraordinary. Just own the tools in your toolbox and make it a point every day to use those tools to impact other people in a positive way. That is more purposeful than anything you can imagine.
So, crazy question, right? Do you think maybe sometimes our purpose is to spiral in order to learn that?
I don't know that I would say, good question. I don't know if that I would say the purpose, that the spiral is purpose. It certainly serves a purpose. Okay. It serves a purpose. I would say that I had many chances during the spiral to do something different, but I'm stubborn. You could say that I'm great at being stubborn. So some of us learn the hard way. Some of us have to burn ourselves on the stove multiple times before we get the point, and that's me. So I do, to your point, I think there's always, even in those dark seasons, the question to ask is, okay, what is this season trying to teach me? Mm-hmm. What can I learn from this? And I think for me, it was, I needed to learn, I got to make different choices, because you ultimately reap what you sow.
Yeah, it's hard. And that's one of the things that I love to share that message of, is all of that adversity. There really is amazing gifts in that.
Oh, absolutely.
If you can look for them, and sometimes you find them immediately and sometimes it's years later, but they really do exist, right? Instead of running down the rabbit hole of like, why me, poor me, how come me? And we all do that. And I think that's still fair to ask those questions. But when the focus is there versus in, yes, pulling the tools, pulling yourself out, and then seeing what you can learn from it. I know I'm grateful for, and I've got some poor me stories as well, and I think we all do. I don't think any of us can get through, 5 decades of life or 100 decades of life and not have those. But it's where does the value come from those?
Right.
That I think is really life altering.
To me, that's how you make sense of a shitty period that you go through is, if it's just, okay, that sucked and I don't do anything with it. I don't grow from it. I don't learn from it. I don't, very often, it's the saying, sometimes what happens to you happens for you. Mm-hmm. But I think, to your point, the worst possible thing to do, and maybe it's not the worst, I tend to be a little dramatic. Something that's certainly not helpful is to play the victim and say, oh, this is happening to me and woe is me and poor me. It's like, well, no, I had a hand in getting me here. Like, and even if it was just a tiny hand, maybe it wasn't entirely my fault, but to simply play the victim gives up, you give up the opportunity to really ask the question, what was my role in this? Now, here's the thing. I always say this, not so that you can go to a place of shame. Oh, why did I do that? I'm such a bad person. I'm an idiot, right? Because all that does is feed the self-talk, but instead to attack it as a logical, like from a place of logic, like, okay, why did I do that? What was I looking for? What was I missing? Was I running from something? Was I running to something? If you attack it as a logical problem instead of an opportunity to just add to the negative self-talk, it can be life altering. It really can change the path that you're on.
Right. Now you deal with a lot of leaders, right, in organizations and the roles that they play. Just real briefly, if you can, because we're going to go to a commercial break soon, but real briefly, I want you to comment on the importance of health and wellness within these organizations, right? That's my background, right? Like I love to educate in that field. And I think a lot of times we look at organizations where that's sort of by the wayside, right? The health and wellness of the organization, the health and wellness of the individuals, the people. What do you see in your business practices as to what is working well and where the challenges are?
Yeah. Burnout is real. For us, it's foundational. All of our leadership development, any leadership that we do, one of the first modules is lead yourself first. You've got to take care of you. If you want to show up well anywhere, you have to first take care of you. There's that take care of yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually, if that's a component, relationally, financially, whatever those pressures are that change how you might attack a problem because you're moving from a place of high anxiety and stress instead of a place of logical reasoning, a place of calm and peace. So if you're not taking care of you, and this is a big part of the work that we do with our executives is, okay, tell me about self-care. Tell me about health and wellness. And by the way, I feel like it has really changed a lot. Any leader out there who likes to say, I work so hard. Like it's a badge of courage to work nights and weekends or to respond to emails in the middle of the night or send emails from vacation. Like That is the worst possible leadership you can send. Even when you're telling your people, oh, no, I don't want you to do that. When you go on vacation or when you're sick, I want you taking care of you. No, they're watching you. They hear your words, but your words don't align with your actions. And I promise you, when they're sick, they're responding because they're like, well, even if it's not, I feel like you're making me, it might be, I don't want to let you down because I know you do it. And so no one has a chance to recharge. No one has a chance. If that's how you're leading, you're creating an organization that does that, and you're going to experience more burnout. You're going to experience more turnover. You're going to see more mistakes. You're going to see people less communicative and willing to work with each other. Everybody moving from a place of anxiety and stress. Health and wellness it really is foundational for great leadership.
I love that. All right, Patrick, we're going to take a quick break, and nobody's checking an email. Nobody's returning a phone call. We're going to hydrate. We're going to take a couple deep breaths. We're going to come back and we're going to listen to Patrick Lyons answer a couple what I call rapid fire questions, which over time we've learned are not rapid at all because I always have something to say. But are you up for that, Patrick?
I don't know. I guess I'll find out.
Well, we're going to throw it at you. If you choose not to answer, that is your privilege. So everybody hang tight. We're going to listen to a couple sponsors. We will be right back with Patrick Lyons. This is your weekly dose of Dr. Cindy, the Positively Altered podcast. Stop, hit that follow button now and spread the love with Positively Altered. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Cindy. This is the Positively Altered podcast, and my guest, Patrick Lyons from the Lyons Group, has been with us today. Patrick, here we go. These are really important questions. The most important questions you will be asked in the next 4 minutes.
Okay.
You ready? What is one article of clothing you wish you never had to wear again?
Long johns.
Okay. Do you wear long johns regularly?
No, but I did a lot as a kid, and mainly because you're so cold, you have to wear them. I don't like cold, so no more long johns. I hope I never have to wear them again.
Okay, I think that's a great answer. I love that. If you could be any superhero or cartoon character, what would you pick?
Ooh, any superhero or cartoon character. Let's say Batman.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah. Do you want to know? Yeah, I just like.
Your commitment didn't seem to be there though. Like when you answered the question, I didn't have total buy-in.
You were looking for like real conviction.
Yeah, like you're like, well, if I have to, I'll be Batman.
Well, okay, okay, I'll change my answer then. I don't want you to
change it. I just want you committed, Patrick. That's all.
Well, okay. If I think about it, honestly, I love and a lot of people hate the show Family Guy. I think it's one of the funniest shows on TV. It's hilarious. So I'd love to be like a Peter Griffin kind of thing. That'd be fun. So.
All right. Well, listen, again, you can make up your own rules. So you can, Batman sort of converts back to human. So maybe you go between Peter and Batman.
Between the two. Yeah, there you go.
On any given day, depending on what you're trying to accomplish in the world.
Yeah. Peter Griffin would be my alter ego, would be my Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay.
Gym shoes, dress shoes, or flip-flops? What are you living in if you only have one?
Slippers, actually.
I didn't give that to you as a choice.
No, I know. So gym shoes, dress shoes, or flip-flops. I guess I'd say gym shoes.
No, I'm going to give you back the slippers. See, Julie, Julie's behind the scenes laughing, my producer, because this is what's great, Patrick. I want you to okay, you ready? Now I'm going to coach you. I want you to commit to your answers. If I give you 3 choices and you want a different one, I love breaking the rules. I think slippers is oh my God, he's showing us slippers for those of you that aren't watching.
These are my Birks. They're amazing. So Birk slippers. Yeah.
All right. So gym shoes, dress shoes, slippers, or flip-flops. See, I'm going to change the rules for you.
Hey. I'm a
This just goes to
trendsetter.
show-
That's what I
I
do.
don't know who made the rules of life, Patrick, but I want to throw them all out and start over. I don't know. All right. If all animals could be domesticated, what would you make your family pet?
All animal, a monkey.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I've always wanted a monkey. I think that'd be,
My son
but
always
there's
wanted
part
a
of that.
monkey, too.
There's part of you. I mean, while some people have them as pets, every once in a while you wake up and read an article about where that, a monkey just went crazy and like it didn't end well for the family. So if I knew that it would like be purely safe, we'd get a monkey for sure.
See, I would be more worried about the smell and the fact that I think they take their own shit and whip it against the wall in the house, which I guess wouldn't make them domesticated. So maybe I just didn't listen to my own question very well.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm envisioning the diaper, right? You've seen them. They just like a cute little diaper on there. And I think that'd be fun, having a monkey.
All right, monkey it is.
Yep.
Julie, make a note that if we can ever find a domesticated monkey, we will send that to Patrick as a gift for being on the podcast.
This was the coolest. That'd be the coolest thank you gift ever.
Yeah, I wouldn't it's not coming anytime soon, Patrick, but if we can manage it, maybe one day, like in a decade, you'll open a box and
It'll just show up.
There will be a monkey.
All right.
What do you think is the best invention ever on the planet?
Ooh, the best invention ever on the planet. I'm actually really partial. Maybe it's recency bias. I'm pretty partial to AI. Like Chat GPT, that kind of stuff, because I find that it helps get ideas out of your head faster. Again, go back to that self-talk. Like, boy, it'd be really cool to create this, but I don't know how to do that. I would never know how to do that. Now it's like having an assistant that you can say, okay, I've got this crazy idea. What should I do? And so to me, it's really fascinating and fun to see. It just helps get those crazy ideas out of your head and a whole lot faster. So
this is perfect for you, Patrick, because now you can write the book. You just have to tell Chat GPT. It's hard to say fast. Please write me a 252-page book authored by myself about these crazy ideas that I've had in my head. Go.
Hey, well,
and your book has just been written for you.
And now do I have to list Chat as a cosign? As a co-author?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Do you like how I just solved one of your challenges?
That's what you do here. You solve problems.
Listen, I mean, it is one of my greatest gifts.
Can you say I'm great at that?
I am great at solving problems,
but
it is in a unique and kind of off the wall way. I will admit to that.
That's awesome.
Probably not gonna stand it.
That's what makes it interesting.
Listen, life is always interesting in my head. It's just how it translates out of my head that's questionable. All right, the most important question of the day. You ready?
I don't know.
You are. I think you can do this. I know you can do this. What is your favorite thing about being on the podcast today?
Oh, iron sharpens iron. To me, I just love being around people who in my mind get it, right? Who are passionate about the same thing. And then you just get this spiraling of energy and ideas. Again, like a space, to go back to what we're talking about, where people can be great together without needing to compete and without walking away feeling like, oh, I was better than she was here, or not as good at, which is great. Just to get together and be great with other people. That's fun. When you do that, magic happens. So
Patrick, in order to create more magic, how do people find you, follow you, work with you? How do they get a hold of you?
Yes. So you can find us, if you're, if family-led, family-run business needs help, we are at the lionsgroupconsulting.com. But I always say, please connect with me on LinkedIn. That's where we do all of we're very active there. We also have, can I promote our podcast? Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, we do have a podcast for frustrated CEOs. In fact, it's called the Frustrated CEO Podcast. So you can find that on our website as well. We have an Instagram, the frustratedceo.com, frustrated CEO podcast. And so there are just a few different ways. I'd say those are the two primary ways, would be connect with us on social media or head to the website. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
Oh, my pleasure. And I'm glad. We'll make sure that's in the show notes for everybody too, so that they can have access to you. If you want to learn more about what I am doing, please check out drcindyspeaks.com. And if you're interested in having me as a keynote speaker, you can get more information there as well, because I love to stand on stage, say something funny or ridiculous and certainly inspiring. You can check out the book, Positively Altered, Finding Happiness at the Bottom of a Chemo Bag on Amazon or wherever your favorite books are sold. And if you just want to tell us something, reach out by email, hello@drcindyspeaks.com. Patrick, it has been an absolute joy. My favorite thing was we got to spiral. Ooh, I almost blew that. We got to spiral into greatness together. And that was really fun for me as well. So thank you so much for being so uplifting and inspiring. This was absolutely great. I know I have learned a lot, and I hope that everybody out there today listening or watching has been positively altered.